This is the Gary Cantrell Podcast.
How was your walk?
It was very, very tiring.
It is so hot out, man.
It is. I was just like, it was kind of a slower day at work, so I wasn't on my feet as much, and I'm like, I got steps to hit.
Yeah. Are you in a step it, or are you just doing it to do it?
The work, they challenged us to try to complete 10,000 steps every day, and you know me, like, I am not about to not do 10,000 steps every day.
Right.
And I looked at they have a Google spreadsheet of like everybody, like they're filling in all their times, and I'm like second behind one of the owners, and I'm like, wait, what?
That's awesome.
I was very surprised.
Boy, I'm not. You've been busting your butt.
Well, I need to be busting my butt, because I'll tell you, it's been a crazy couple of months. Let me tell you, it's been a crazy long time, you know.
I feel you, man. It's been weird for a lot of us.
I know. And actually, the other thing I was going to say really quick is like the last time that we got on a podcast, I had actually also got home from a walk. So here I am coming home from a walk today. I was coming home from a walk there, so it's like history repeating itself.
Right? Some things never change.
That's right. So I was looking at the last time you were on. This would have been around March or April of last year, probably March when we recorded, April when it came out. What has life been like for you? COVID stuff aside, let's put that to the side just for a moment. We'll definitely get there, but just life in general, where are you at with all that stuff?
I mean, life is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty busy. The shop's been super slow because of COVID and all that mess. So it's kind of given me a little bit more energy to do my side stuff. But other than that, I'm still just hanging in there like by a thread, trying to eat as good as I can, trying to move as much as I can. And that's pretty much been the same thing since the last time we talked.
Well, I don't know that you even had this shop going the last time we talked. Is that, am I getting that wrong, or did you open that thing up before we started talking on the podcast last?
The Etsy shop, you mean?
Yeah.
That was last summer. I opened it last July. So that was after we talked.
That's crazy. Now, I know you've always had like a lot of creative bones in your body, but like, when do you get this idea? Like, I'm just going to open up a shop and see what happens.
I don't know. It just literally popped into my mind last. And if I think of something, I'm just so impulsive. I just do it.
Yeah.
And literally within like 2 days, I had a shop and I was up and running. But I meant the print shop that I work for too. So
okay.
When I said we were slow, it's the print shop that I was talking about. We were slow.
I remember that. Yeah. Cause I was like, oh, hey, you work with printing and so do I. I was like, oh, hey, cool. Yeah. That's something we had in common.
We're like two different departments though, right? You do a different thing than I'm doing.
Yeah. I actually print the stuff sometimes. And then other times I help like expedite files to the printer and stuff like that. What did you do again?
That is so cool.
Yeah. What were you doing with the print shop?
I'm the graphic designer there.
Oh, yeah.
So I like design everything. And then if we're printing stuff in house on the press, I'll do like the color separations and all that.
Nice. What are you guys just using Adobe stuff, or?
We use Corel Draw. I have Adobe, like the Adobe suite for my house, but at Lewis Printing, we've always used Corel. So that's what I'm using there. Brady, come on. I can't remember. I think it's 2017. It's not the newest. It's just like the second to the newest. Hi, Bob.
Yeah, I back at my other print shop, like before I got this job some 9 odd years ago, Corel sounds like a familiar program that I wouldn't have personally used, but I remember some people using it in the pre-press department where I used to work back in the day.
Yeah, it's all the same stuff. It's pretty much just like Illustrator. It's just a little bit different, but it all does the same thing.
I got to tell you, that stuff scares the shit out of me, Amy. Like all that like Illustrator and designing stuff, like that stuff scares me. Yeah.
Oh my God. I never went to college. I went to a vocational high school, and that's what my technical area was. So I've literally been an illustrator since 1999.
That is so cool.
That's crazy, actually, that I just said that out loud. Oh my God. Yeah, that's freaking madness.
No, that's so cool, though. I mean, it's like something that you clearly have a passion for. You like doing it. You love doing it, rather. So, like, why not just go all in with it?
Why not?
Yeah. Do you ever think it's something that could be like a full-time gig for you?
I mean, I'm taking the shop over in like a year and a half.
Oh,
so
wow.
So when my boss retires, I'll be she's handing it over to me pretty much.
Right on.
And I've been there since 2004, so I'm ready for it.
Yeah. No, I think you are definitely ready for something like that. Yeah. What to get sidebar geeky for people like the maybe 2 or 3 people that might understand what we're talking about, what kind of, do you guys have like digital printers? Do you have like presses? Like what do you guys use over there?
We actually have 2 offset old school presses in the back, and right now the press guy is only working part-time because we've just been so slow since pretty much March.
Yeah.
But anything we can handle, like anything under like 2,000, like 2 to 3 color inks. Otherwise we will use our full color digital copier, or we'll just outsource it actually to a place in Virginia, to BC TIG.
No kidding.
I don't know
what's your digital press you're using?
It's not a digital press. It's just a color copier. It's a Canon image press.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
They're nice. It's really, really nice.
Have you ever heard, I probably asked you this a year ago, I just don't remember. Have you ever heard of the Xerox iGen?
No.
Okay, that's where we're running. It's like this, like, I can't even move my arms how big this thing is. It's like 24 feet like wide and then like 72 feet long, and that's just the standard configuration. It's like probably 9 feet tall. It's gigantic. You know what? I'm just gonna have to take a picture and DM it to you.
I would love to see that. That is awesome.
You're like the one person that I know that would actually appreciate something like that.
Yes, let me see your printer. I would hate to get a jam out of that thing.
Oh, dude, it's actually easier than you think, but like when it jams in like 8 different places. There's like 10 to 12 like sections, but like usually about in 8 places is where it jams.
I can't even imagine. It's bad enough. Ours is probably like maybe 8 or 9 feet long.
Yeah.
And we have 3 of them, but that's bad enough. I can't even imagine having to go into a machine that large.
It's gigantic. I mean, it's just, it overwhelms you too, because here's the thing, like, if something goes wrong with it, like outside of the basic, I got a jam or a fuser rolls burn out or whatever, like, if something goes wrong with it, there could be potentially 5 different things causing that. So you have to like run down the list of these 5 different things for any one problem that it could be. And then it could also not be one of those 5 things. It could be something completely different.
Yeah, man. We have a really good maintenance agreement. So whenever something is out of our hands and we're just not even having it, we'll just call them and they're there in like an hour. It's awesome.
It's Print Talk, everybody, with Gary and Amy. Print Talk.
We can't help it, man.
I'm totally on the YouTube version of this. I'm totally dropping some printer tags for the SEO. Like, I want to know where the printer nerds are at.
Right? There's not very many of us left anymore because it's all web now.
I know, it's crazy. But that's kind of the world you're in now. So you got an Etsy shop. You're creating some stuff. Where do you find like a general inspiration for things? Like, how do you get your inspiration to like draw something and then make it into stickers or T-shirts or books or whatever you're doing?
I honestly don't even know. I'll just look around and see something and then just start sketching it, and it just like goes from there. I just started the sticker jam and it's pretty fun. So I'm happy that I got into that little business. Yeah,
you get a good deal on those things. Every time I've looked at them, the margins for me just never seem to work out correctly. You'll have to send me your people or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Brady, come on. My animals are in here arguing.
Nice.
Get him out of here, babe. This cat's a dick.
This cat's a dick.
He like is always messing with the dog. But yeah, I'll definitely send you some of the people that I go through. And then I just started this like 2 days ago, printing them at the shop, like on paper labels.
Okay,
and
cool.
then die cutting them at my house. I just got a Cricut, and I'm just starting to learn how to use that.
Nice. So you're actually bringing this stuff home and you're able to produce some stuff in-house.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I print everything at work and then bring them home and cut them at home.
God, you are next level, Amy. I got to get on your level.
Right? I got to get on your level.
No way. You're out here. You're bringing equipment home. You're cutting stuff out. You're shipping. I mean, you're doing it all over there.
It's pretty busy, but I got to tell you, it's really calmed down a lot. I had this one card for some reason went ballistic for Father's Day.
Yeah.
And for legitimately 2 weeks, I did not know which end was up. It was crazy. It's
a good problem to have, though, right?
It is. Yes, it's amazing, but it's really been something. It's just cool to see what's happened with it.
No, I mean, I think that's awesome. Anytime you can find something that works, really well, and you just go all in with it, you just lean right into it.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's like I'm trying to think of what shirt it was that I had that was just like the I am worth the fight. That one just plummeted.
Yeah.
It was like just shooting through the sky on me. I was like, what is going on here?
It's good stuff, man. I have like 3 of your tanks, and I love all of them.
No, I appreciate that. Here's the thing with me, because I am not the designer. I am more of like a I'll find the fonts and find nice ways to connect different fonts and try to make it look like I designed something. But that's just for me. Like, actually, this one right here, I hired somebody to do this one.
That's cool.
The zombie guy. I found some guy in the Philippines. Like he calls himself T-shirt fella, and he just does designs. He's like, all right, like email me and I'll send you a quote. I think this design right here, I paid like $40 to design this one.
That's awesome. And it probably took him like 10 minutes to do.
Oh my God. I was like,
done and done.
I was on his website and I saw this font right here. And I was like, that font looks cool. It's kind of like that, like monsters, zombies. And I have nothing like that. It's completely different from anything in my shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, can you do me something like that with like just some wicked looking like monster zombie thing, like lifting weights or something? I don't know, like, whatever. And like within 8 hours he had, because like he's on a different time zone. So like by the time I woke up the next morning, I sent him the PayPal before I went to sleep. By the time I woke up, and this is when I was doing the gym at 4 a.m., by the time I went to the gym at 4 a.m., he had the design in my inbox.
That is so cool. That's going to be really cool around Halloween too.
I know. I'm going to have to like do some really cool like SEO. And do you buy like Facebook and Instagram ads and stuff, or you just go off word of mouth?
Yeah, just word of mouth. Etsy's really good, especially for t-shirts and stuff like that, because what happens is your listing will show up in similar listings, and you'll get a lot of organic traffic just by having similar listings.
No kidding.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, really helpful.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by how all that works. I was actually having a chat with Daryl on his podcast, I want to say like a month or something ago, and we were just talking about like how bad like I stink at SEO. Like, have you ever even looked into that kind of stuff? Because I am not good at it. Maybe you can give me some pointers.
I did when I had my blog, I want to say 2 summers ago, when I don't know if we were friends. I think we were friends at that point. I was
Probably.
doing like food reviews and articles about nutrition and all that stuff when I was like getting my certifications and stuff. And I got into a little bit of SEO work then, but Daryl is the king of all that. I don't know how he does it. But me and Daryl jump down that rabbit hole all the time too, talking about stats and all that stuff. It's like all we talk about. It's crazy.
I think I got to a point where, like, for me personally, I just, like, I'm not a numbers guy. I hate looking at the numbers. Like, if a podcast does 10, like, I don't give a shit if it does 10 or 1,000. I'd like for it to do 1,000, but if it does 10, so be it. Like, I just got to a point where I just, like, I hate it to look at numbers, but then there's the other side of it. It's like, if you want to, like, do anything in life, you have to at least look at them. And, like, these are things that just scare me beyond belief to like, look at them. I'm like, I don't know what this means. I don't know what this is. Like, it's all weird stuff.
Weird. It is, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. One day, especially like on Instagram, if you hit an algorithm, it's the stupidest thing you can post can hit, and it will just go bananas. And then you can put 10 minutes into thinking about a caption, and like it will barely reach anybody. It just doesn't make any sense.
Oh, you hit the nail on the head. There was one that I like poured my heart. It was like 3 paragraphs. It was a big one, and like I posted like some dumb picture of my dog, like waiting for the weekend. And like that thing got like 300 likes. And this other one that I poured my heart into got like maybe 70 likes. And again, it's not about the likes, but it's like, hey, you expect something like that to resonate more with people. But Instagram said, well, we don't really need to show that to anybody. It's fine.
Exactly. And it's just, it's so strange because like you said, I mean, it's not that I stopped doing it and it's not about the likes, but it gets to the point where it's like, why even try if this post is so suppressed, it's not even going to reach half the people that follow me. What's the point of saying X, Y, and Z? This
is so true. I got to a point in the last couple of months where like, I just stopped like on a lot of posts. I just stopped posting like hashtag. I'm like, well, what difference does it make? Nobody's going to see it. Well, who cares?
Yeah. And like every once in a while, like 1 month I'll be like, man, screw it. And then I'll just like for 3 weeks, I won't care. But then it's like, I got to know why it's working like this. Like, why is this doing this? And then I'll look at my stats. It's just like a vicious cycle. It makes no sense.
I know. I just go for the low hanging fruit. I post a picture of my wife or my dog and it just shoots to the moon.
Yeah, same here. In fact, I think this last week I posted some things without any hashtags in it. It's like it doesn't even matter. It just doesn't even matter.
Or it's even like the IGTV stuff. Like, I'm surprised at how well that tends to do. When you think about like the discoverability of it, it's just kind of like, well, like they put it in your feed now, and so more people can see it. And I'm surprised at like sometimes that does even better than some posts, which surprises me.
It does. It's crazy.
I cannot figure this out.
I can't. Nobody can. It literally makes no sense. And honestly, I feel like if you have a business account, I feel like they specifically suppress your posts so you pay for the ads. Daryl and I talk about it all the time. We don't know if it's true or not, but that's just what it seems like. And I will tell you, a couple of weeks ago, I went through and took my account. I took it from public to private, and I took my business like access off. And doing that alone, it's like my people who saw my story shot up by like 200.
No kidding.
And then I put it back on, and then the numbers are down again. So I don't know if that was just a fluke or what, but so that's something that I've seen.
Now, are you on like a regular business account or are you on a creator account?
That's a really good question. I have no idea.
Well, I'm actually on a creator account, and I don't know if it's kind of the same thing. I do know one thing. If you go to the creator account as opposed to the business account, there's two things that I really like about it. Number one, you don't get constantly bugged to boost posts. Like, there'd be times where you go to your notifications and refresh, and there'd be something at the top like, hey, buy some ads, do this, do that. Like, that goes away. And then also they give you the filtered messages, like not the little guy on the right where it says like, one new message in this other box, but like they have like primary and general. And so you can put certain messages in one half of the messages and then the other half of the messages in the other box. And so sometimes like I'll put like group stuff over in general and then like people that I'm actually talking to on the primary so that I see it. And it's actually really cool. It seems like that the creator accounts get a little bit more than say a business account does.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a look at it.
Try that with your theory about, switching from this account to that account and see if it does anything better or worse and see how it works out for you.
Yeah, I'll let you know. It's just, like you said, it doesn't even really matter, but it's just nice to know that when you have something important that you feel like people will understand or resonate with, you want people to see that. And it can be really frustrating.
I know. It's one of the reasons why I'll put stuff in my stories as well, because I'm like, well, it seems like more people almost see the stuff in the story than they do on the feed, which is kind of weird.
I agree. I agree 100%.
I have not figured that out, like how that works, but who knows? But yeah, try the creator account, see if that does work better for you at all. I know that I had, and they're so weird too. They're so finicky. So like, I have this deal with Everyman Jack, and like, I have the thing where like, if I post a post with him, it says paid partnership because I want people to know that it's an ad. And Instagram, like, they randomly, like, take away features. Like, one day I went to go post something, and they had taken away the branded content tool. And so I was unable to say that this was a paid ad or whatever. And then, like, 6 weeks later, it magically reappears on my account again. I'm like, this is the weirdest stuff.
That's really weird.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Me either. Who knows?
Yeah. Instagram is so finicky, man.
It really, really is. It just, we talk about it all the time. Like 3 years ago, I remember this distinctly. I posted a picture. I was cleaning my car out. Me and my husband were getting ready to go to Alabama, and I was cleaning my car out. And I went to the car wash, and I pulled out an old banana peel that I didn't know was under my car seat. It was like this big because it was under there for so long, brown and dried up, right? And I put a picture of it on Instagram, and it like went bananas. It's just, it's so different than it was a few years ago. It's just crazy.
Yeah, they've tied down a lot of stuff, like especially since Facebook bought them and all that stuff. Like they are just like tightening it down tighter, and it's harder. You got to pay to play, basically. It seems like how it's going. And then like TikTok came out. I tried that a little bit, and like that's like playing at a casino. Like you're either going to pull the lever down on the slot machine and win the damn jackpot, which will happen on there, or like you pull it down and you get a couple of nickels.
Yeah. I don't have TikTok. Emily sends me all like the good ones, so I feel like I don't even need it. She like filters out all the good jams and then sends them to me. So
yeah, there's a lot of, and then I hear like stuff they want to like shut that down, or they want to like shut it down, at least here in the States. Like I don't know what's going on with all that, but like I know it's like the Wild West over there. It's kind of like Instagram of like 4 or 5 years ago, where you could literally post something and go like crazy viral, and it's just it's unbelievable.
Do you think it's just because we have more people on Instagram, so it kind of gets lost, or is it just like a different algorithm? Do you have like any thought behind that?
I think it's partially algorithm, and then I think it's also that a lot of the people that will follow somebody like a me or you or Daryl will also follow like 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 other people. And so what happens is that, you know, we get buried down deep below because maybe some of those other people that they're following, they're seeing their stuff more because maybe they're posting more, or maybe they're doing more stories than one of us might do. And so that person could be interacting with them more. And I think it's definitely based on like who you interact with. Cause like if you look on your Instagram and you look at like somebody you talk to the most, they're probably like the first little story bubble you see at the top when you refresh. And they're likely to be the first person that if you refresh and they just posted something, it's going to be right at the top or right in the first 5 posts. And so it definitely, I think it's based on who you interact with. And it depends on how many people that they're following. And then that could also be a factor of why you're not being seen. Because if they follow like 5,000 people, and I have some of these like this, where like they'll follow 5,000 people, they'll randomly see one of my posts and they'll DM me, dude, what happened to you, man? Did you stop posting? No. I mean, I was here like last week and 2 weeks before, but I guess you didn't see it. Like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah. I try to keep my follower count under 1,000. And every like few months I'll go through as many as I can until I get tired of it and unfollow people who haven't posted for a while.
Yes.
Just to kind of like clear out. Cause I feel like you said, if you follow people and you don't interact with them, it just clogs everything up.
It really does.
That's what I do.
And it stops you from seeing stuff that you really want to see unless you go and turn notifications on. But they make that such like a 3 to 4 click process that who wants to go through all that?
I know, it's crazy.
There was a reason why a guy like Gary Vee was in his story every day bugging you to turn his notifications on, because he probably had it worse than us. Now, granted, he could post literally anything and get like 500,000 likes in 10 minutes, but at the same time, he probably was seeing some of that similar stuff with posts like declining, and he's probably like, oh, well, they got to turn on my notifications so they can see all my stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
it's just a weird, social media is weird, just in general.
It really is. And I'm now kind of on that bubble where I'm trying to crack the YouTube bubble now. I'm like, okay, I need a new challenge. And that's even crazier. Like, you watch all these videos of like how people do it, and it's just like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. They're like, oh, the right thumbnail, the right tags, but even if you have all that, like, your one video might blow up, the next one might bomb. It's just, it's a crazy thing over there too.
Yeah. Everything that looks like it's simple and easy to do never is. There's like a million steps that you have to do. You got to get lucky to hit an algorithm for people to even see it. It's just crazy.
I know. With the Etsy though, I know you said you kind of get shown and like featured and stuff like that, but is there other ways for you to be discovered? Like, is it fairly easy to be seen, or?
I don't know. I know that Etsy is super saturated, and that was a main reason as to why I was nervous to open a shop anyway, because there's so many shops out there on Etsy. There's probably like a million shops, honestly. And it is hard to be seen, but you can pay for ads on Etsy, which places your shop. I think it's like every 2 rows, there's a row of ads. So you can be placed easier that way, but it's all the same thing. It's just the luck of the draw, I feel like.
Yeah. Do you ever see that where you get like random people coming in that just like you've never even heard of this person and they like buying some stuff from your store?
Yeah, I would say probably like, I would say 50. I would say half of the people that buy from my shop are just randoms.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, most of them are friends from Instagram who I'm very, very grateful for, and my personal friends and family. But I do get a lot of random people, but that's just because your listings show up. As long as your tags are good, it's the same thing with everything else. You have to tag your items appropriately, and if you don't, you're not going to get those sales. But once you feel it out and see what works, it really, The foot traffic on Etsy is enough to keep me there for sure.
Yeah, I would say, I think when I first started, or not the very first one I started, but like the second or third iteration of the store, I think I had on Etsy, and I seen a couple little things there, but I think at that time the percentage they were taking I wasn't too hot about, and the integration with the people I was using I wasn't too hot about. So then I went on to, I think, Shopify, where I paid just like a flat rate a month, and they still took out a little bit, and I was like, okay, I need to get out of this, and then I ended up on Teespring. But Teespring, like, for somebody like you, that wouldn't work, because it's all the whatever they create. Like, you have your own creations that you can sell. You can pretty much sell whatever you want. I have to go like within their templates and like whatever they have. And I mean, it has its benefits, but it's still, one day I just want to operate the whole thing from my house one day.
Yes, you can totally do that. I'm so used to doing everything for myself because I've been working at the print shop for so long. There is no way I would grant anybody that type of thing to do my stuff. I just couldn't do it. I'd rather do nothing.
Yeah, you want your fingerprints literally on it.
I want to do all of it.
I hear you. I mean, I've had people offer to, or want me to hire them to edit like my podcast or work on videos. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Only
I'm the
me.
same way. It's our creative control. I'm not letting nobody do it.
Yeah, because they might do like one little thing that you don't like, and then you feel like the whole thing is just ruined.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but I'm an absolute perfectionist when it comes to my stuff. If it's not cut right, if it's not, like, I'm having a hard time with my stickers right now, it's acting stupid, and I'm not sending them until they're perfect.
I'm with you. But you know what, Amy, the problem with something like that, though, is that kind of stuff can hold us back. And I know that it's held me back a numerous amount of times. Like, if there's something that, like, I mean, you want to get it right, obviously, but like, you know, the perfection thing, I feel like sometimes can be like a limiter. How does that work in your world? I mean, you really want it to be like 1,000% perfect.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's just the way that I do everything. Even if it's not for myself, if it's for customers at work at the print shop, I do not give them their stuff unless it's perfect. And that's just the way that I operate.
I respect it. 100%. I've had times where yeah. No, I mean, I've had it times where, you know, there'll come down, there'll be like an edit, like a video or something, and there's like one thing that I'm like, I don't know. And then like I watch it a few more times, like, well, I think that should be okay. But that's mostly because I'm waiting till the absolute last minute to do it. And I'm like,
yeah,
I need to get this out.
I'm the same way. I'm the worst procrastinator ever. If I do not have a deadline, it ain't going to get done because I do it like the day before it's due. This is the way I am.
That's something I wanted to follow back up on. I remember one of the things we talked about last time was like time management and things like that. And is it pretty much the same deal where you're just like maxed out at the moment?
Oh yeah, it's terrible. I'm the worst manager of time ever. I'm never going to change, so I've just accepted it.
Yeah, I've tried to tell myself, hey, you'll have this edited early. And I'm like, nope. If I didn't have the Patreon thing out, like the podcast would probably be edited Tuesday night. Like, honestly, it probably would be. But like, because I have that, it's like, okay, I have to have it done by Wednesday or Thursday. Like, no exceptions.
We just work better under pressure.
I think so. But sometimes I don't like that because I'm like, I feel like it puts way too much stress on myself, and then I have a lot of problems. I mean, I would imagine you probably put a lot of unneeded stress on yourself as well.
I ask myself every time why I do it to myself. It's like every time I have, like, if somebody wants me to draw something or whatever and they need it by like the 20th, I literally wait until the 18th to even start thinking about it. And then I'm like, every time I'm done, I'm like, well, next time I'm going to give myself a couple of weeks to work on it. And then it's just. And
then you never do.
Same thing. Yeah.
And where's your husband at all this? Is he like, yo, Amy, you need to get your act together, manage his time better? Or is he the same way?
I would say he's the same way.
Okay, fair enough.
He's on Xbox right now, so whenever I'm in here doing my thing or whatever, he's working on his thing. He was streaming there for a while.
Oh yeah.
I really supported him on doing that. He bought like a mic and a backdrop and all that stuff.
Oh, really? So he's like all the way with it.
I don't think he's doing it anymore, but he always has it if he wants to pick it back up.
Nice. Was he on like Twitch and stuff like that?
He was on Twitch.
I thought about getting on there, but that seems like a whole uncharted territory for me.
You totally should. I feel like you could dominate any type of anything in this world. You could totally do.
I don't know. I feel like I'm more comfortable with the Facebook just because like it's people that I actually know or like know of, whereas Twitch is just like completely uncharted territory. Like that kind of scares me a little bit.
It's just really cool because people like will just pop on and watch you play video games, and if they like you, they'll give you money. Like it's crazy how all that works.
I know. It like I once had an idea where like, what if I jump on there and I'm like, hey, I'm like the shittiest video game player ever. Like, watch me like lose every time. Like, I wonder if people would watch that. I don't even know.
I kind of dig that idea because that goes against everything that everybody tries to do on Twitch. Like everybody wants to. What if you want to be the worst gamer?
Yeah.
I would watch it.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, maybe that's my angle. Like, hey, I just really suck at playing games. Like, come watch me suck at this game.
I love it.
Other than Grand Theft Auto, I'm fairly decent at that. Like, I'll shoot up some people, hook up with some hookers, steal some cars. Like, I'm okay with that. But like, when it comes to anything else, I'm terrible at it.
I always played GTA when I was growing up, and Metal Gear Solid, that is my jam.
Oh, man, I never played that one.
Oh, man, it's a good one. And I just got the new one, and it's just so far off. I'm like super old, like the old, like 15 years ago video game. So I tried it, and I just couldn't get down with it, man. It's like a live movie now. Yeah,
there's a lot of games that I just can't get into for that reason. It's like, cause I mean, I think it's cool to like look at the cinematics and like how they lay it out. But at the same time, I'm like, I just want to turn it on and play like Mario 3. You just turn it on, you start playing. Yeah. That's my favorite game of all time. It's back here on the wall and I love that, but yeah, I love that. And right below it, I'll turn the camera over a little bit. You can see right below it, The Wizard, which is the movie where it debuted in. Fred Savage. It's a little blurry, but
wow, yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah, that's how I heard about that game. Was like that was like the North American announcement of that game was that movie. It was like a big Nintendo ad, you know, Fred Savage and his little brother traveling across the country to go play video games or something. It was awesome.
That's so cool.
I love it.
I really like Mario. Was it Mario 2 where you pull the onions out of the ground?
Yeah.
That's my favorite Mario. I just like pulling the onions out.
That's your favorite Mario?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. It's just because the onions.
That was actually probably one of the, like from a financial standpoint, I think that was one of the more poor performing Marios, just because it was so different from the first Mario, and then Mario 3 was kind of like a return to form with the original Mario, and it was basically like that game, if I remember, because I went down like some YouTube rabbit hole, and basically my understanding of it was they developed the one in Japan called Mario 2, and it was a lot like Mario 1, but it was very hard to play, and the guy was like, we need something easier, and we needed a game, and they didn't have time to develop it, so they just took another game, they switched out the characters, and made that Mario 2.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, look on like either YouTube or Wikipedia. You can read about that. Like if you have like a Switch or one of these systems, you can actually download that Japanese version of Mario 2, and it's really hard. Like it's impossible to play it. Like they'll have like a thing you have to jump that's like this long. It's like, how the hell am I supposed to get over there? Like it's impossible.
Right. Huh.
Yeah.
Any of the Marios are good though.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, even some of the stuff like the later stuff, the Super Mario and or the Super Nintendo or the Nintendo 64, Super Mario 64. That was probably my favorite after Mario 3, I'd say.
I never had a Nintendo 64. I don't remember playing anything on that console.
Yeah, that would be the one. A lot of people love that console for like GoldenEye. They love that game on there. But I was the big fan of the Mario 64. It was the first game I got for it, and I liked it because you could do Mario like 360 wherever you wanted to turn him, and you could see his front, you could see his back, you could see him from the side, you could just look all around. It was really cool.
That's like the beginnings of what Xbox is now. Like all
totally.
These games that I can't get down with, it's just too confusing. It gets me frustrated. Hunter's tried to teach me how to play Call of Duty, and I just get frustrated. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, there's too many joysticks. There's too many buttons. I'm out. Like,
yeah.
It's not happening.
It just gets to be confusing. I mean, that's why I like GTA, because it's just so simple. It's like, okay, here's the button to punch. Here's the one to pull the gun out. Here's the one to jump in the car. Here's the one like to make the car move.
Yeah.
I'm very basic. Like I will play that. I will play like any racing game. I like all the racing games. And then the wrestling games. That's basically it. I won't really do much of anything else.
I love how much you love wrestling. I'm trying to get him to take me to a daggone wrestling match. I want to go to one so bad. I've never been to one.
I feel like we had this discussion on the last one where I think I told you like you have to see a WrestleMania before you die.
I think so. I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah, that
I would love to.
you have to go. You have to go. And in fact, the last year, I think we talked before I went, but I was up at the one in New York or New Jersey last year.
Yes, we actually talked right before last year's pig.
Oh,
that
yeah.
I couldn't go to because my sister-in-law and I had a vacation plan that weekend.
That's right. That's right. You were originally gonna go, and then you realized, oh my God, I have this other thing going on.
Oh, it's devastation. Pure devastation.
Yeah, and then I think we were in the same. Weren't you in like Williamsburg at some point? And I was down there at Busch Gardens. We figured out like 3 days later or something.
Yes, I was so mad. We were like right there in the same town and didn't even know it.
I know, that's great because I really wasn't online that day and in that park the service just stinks, and so you try to refresh stuff and you just can't refresh it. And I'm like, oh, like I think it was like 2 days later. I'm like, oh hey, you were there? Yeah, I was there. And
I know, that's so crazy.
we keep having all these near misses.
I know. Did you have a good time in Ocean City?
Yeah, we pounded the pavement over there. Let me tell you, I had logged 12 miles in one day. That's how much we walked.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Honestly.
How far are you from Ocean City?
I am, on a good day, about a half an hour. You guys probably drove right by my house. I live in Millsboro.
Okay.
And that is, did you guys come down 113?
I'm not sure. I know we took 50 to something, and then we were
It
in the
was
city.
probably 50 to 113, and
Okay.
I live right off of 113. Trying to think, it all looks the same over here, but yeah, you guys probably drove right by. I'm about a half an hour away from Ocean City.
No kidding.
Oh yeah.
Well, one time when the city's not falling apart and we happened to be out that way, I know because that was a time when
Yeah.
it was just like really crazy. But when we got there was like cops everywhere. I never felt so safe in all my life.
Well, that's good. That's good. I was really worried about you guys coming down because pretty much all that week leading up to you guys coming into town, it was bad down there. Like, it was bad. So I'm happy that you guys had no incidents and that you both had a really good time.
Yeah, every day before we went, I remember reading something new. I was like, Larry.
I know. Oh my, should I say something? Should I not say something? Like, I don't want to ruin you guys' time or scare you, but it was pretty dicey down there for a while.
Yeah, Larry's like, hey, I already booked the room. Like, it's happening. Like, I'm down to go. If you're down to go, I'm like, I guess we're going. Let's do it.
Was there a lot of like people down there visiting, or was it like, how was it?
I would say it was not the most crowded I've ever seen it, but I would say it was fairly crowded, especially all things considered, with COVID and everything. Definitely not a lot of people with masks, for sure.
They don't care down there, man. Now there's a bunch of places that are closed. I don't know about Ocean City, but in Dewey, which is kind of close to where I work. I work like, I don't know if you've ever been to Rehoboth.
No, I've heard of it though.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like Ocean City. It's just in Delaware is all. There's a boardwalk and a bunch of places to eat and all that. But there's a bunch of places that are closed down now because we're supposed to be a hot spot of some sort. So
that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
A hot spot.
A hot spot. But somebody came into my job yesterday, and his fiance is a nurse at the hospital in Lewis where everybody would go or whatever. And they said right now that we have no COVID patients in the hospital.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, how are you in life and everything with this whole pandemic going on?
We have been very, very fortunate. We've both been able to work through the closings. Printing, luckily, as you know, is considered essential. My specific, where I work, we do a lot of the scripts for all the doctors in the state of Delaware.
Right.
And our state is really weird about giving scripts for, controlled substances. So we would have had to stay open in some capacity because we supply the hospitals and a bunch of doctors with the scripts. But both of us have been very lucky in being able to work. And I think that's a big part of feeling okay through everything. You know, we don't have to worry about finances, luckily, right now.
Yeah, it got a little dicey there for a while. I know for the month of April, my hours were pretty much cut in half. And like
Really?
I used some vacation time. I basically went through like every available hour that I had. And I didn't have a lot available, but like I ran through all of that. And then for about a solid month, I went with like half the pay. That was really rough. And then fortunately, we started picking back up and I'm like, yes, here we go. We're back to, you know, whatever normal. We're not 100% back to normal, but we were at a level to where I could go in for a 40-hour work week without a problem.
And isn't it just something like nobody would have ever thought that this was going to be an issue that we all as a country had to think about. Like, it's just this whole year has been very, very weird.
It really has.
Yeah.
I was listening to, there was a podcast that Nikki and Daryl did. I was listening to it and I remember how it had just started coming on the news a little bit and they were kind of like, oh, I don't really know what this is all about. It was kind of not like, you know, just saying like, oh, it's no big deal or not really joking about it. It was kind of like, well, who knows? We'll wait and see, whatever. And then like, I think it was the next day or the day after was when like all hell broke loose. Like that was when like the NBA guy got it and Tom Hanks got it. And then like, it was from like one day to the next, like everything changed over the course of 24 hours.
Yeah, it was crazy. There was a guy who came in who works at a drugstore, and he said that the frenzy, like with all the toilet paper and the Kleenexes and all that, he said from the time that his shift started to ended, everything was gone. He said when he walked in the door, everything was completely normal. By the time he left, everything was completely blown out. Like it happened just like that.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. I can't even imagine. That was probably scary to see. Like, can you imagine just going in to work on a normal day and then having that happen in your store? Like, that was probably scary.
I know. I could not imagine that. I wouldn't know what to think.
That would be very something to go through for sure.
But I almost feel like, and I will never proclaim to have the answers because I'm not that intelligent when it comes to like figuring out how do we get back to being somewhat regular or whatever that means or normal. But like, I got to think that, you know, we're at a point now where I don't know that we can go back to being like shut down again. I think they're just going to have to take it on a case by case basis, like different cities or whatever, because I know there are some spikes, you know, obviously because they're trying to like reopen stuff. So then things are spiking. So I don't know what the right answer is, but I feel like I don't foresee that we're all going to be shut down again, like completely. I don't see that.
I really hope not, because there's a lot of small businesses. The large businesses are not being hurt. It's the small businesses that I work for that are being crushed right now. And that to me is the backbone of our country. And we can't do it again. We got to figure something out. I don't know what to do either. I don't think anybody knows what to do. And that's the problem. Everybody's doing something different. How is that going to do anything?
Yeah,
you know?
I think whoever has the right answer will be very rich, but
yeah,
you know,
we're all in this together. That's all I can say. So we just got to help each other out, be decent to each other, and we'll all have to get through it together.
I agree 100%. I think that, you know, I don't want to put any kind of timelines on anything, but I got to think by sometime by the middle of next year, we have to be in a much better place than we are now. I think that should go without saying, but we'll see.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, I know. But like, you know, so you've been able to work. So basically from your standpoint, not a ton has changed.
Not really.
Yeah. How about
We're
your,
very fortunate.
how about your health and your fitness? How are you feeling, about all that?
So it's funny that you mentioned that. I just learned last week that I have high cholesterol, which was a shocker. Cholesterol is not even, or wasn't even on my radar. Like I just wasn't even thinking about it.
Right.
And, I mean, it's not through the roof sky high. It's 23 points above the threshold. And my total cholesterol is a normal range. It's not too high, but I don't like that. And since last Monday, I've completely changed my diet to accommodate, hopefully to lower my cholesterol. So that's about where I'm at. Me and Emily are in a step bet right now, just a personal one to hold each other accountable to make us move more. But other than that, I'm pretty set. I feel pretty good, and hopefully I'll be able to lower my cholesterol. That's my absolute main focus and concern right now.
What's a diet like that look like, and how easy was it for you to, transition into that? Because obviously you're in a much different place than you were, let's say 5 or 6 years ago, where you're like going hard. So probably I would imagine the transition wouldn't have been too incredibly difficult as opposed to if it happened years ago.
Nope, not at all. So basically I eliminated dairy. Dairy doesn't agree with me anyway. So it's something that I should have been done years ago. But I eliminated dairy, and I feel like that is part of the reason why I feel so good right now, just a couple of weeks later. Mostly plant-based. I have eaten about 10 ounces of chicken, but I've eaten a lot of quinoa, a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruit, whole grains, oatmeal, that kind of thing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's very doable for me. It's how I prefer to eat anyway. So this kind of just shoved me in that direction a little bit more.
Gave you that little nudge that you feel you needed to,
no doubt,
get in the other direction.
What about you? What kind of stuff are you eating?
Oh, dude, it's a dumpster fire over here.
Did I touch on a bad subject?
No, I will talk about it. I am an open book. I just I'm trying to even pinpoint where all this came from, because I just remember this would have been a little over 2 years ago now. I hit that 100 pounds down, hit it in about 11 months, was going on a big long victory lap, and I just never got off the victory lap. But I also, to be fair, I stayed very active. So that was the one thing. They always say that you can never outwork a bad diet. This is 1,000% true. I would say that my biggest issue is more on the nutrition side. I clearly have no problem staying active. I can do 20, 30,000 steps in a day without a problem.
That's freaking crazy.
Yeah, it just comes down to, and that's probably why the weight gain that I've seen has gone very, very slow. Probably slower than it has any right to be, because certainly some of the stuff that I've eaten now, I will say during the week, I tend to behave a lot more better than I do on the weekend.
Yes.
I just have a lot more structure during the week. I know back in April when all that stuff went down, I just kind of I just said, fuck it. And I was just, Chick-fil-A every day, whatever is whatever. I was still, being active, but I was just when it came to the food, my whole structure just crumbled. And I think we all approach it differently. Some people can go into all this and they still have a strong mindset and they do very well. And I think that's great. For me personally, though, it amplified all the other problems that I had, and it just kind of was like this one steady thing going down. But mentally, I'm kind of just in a place where I'm like, okay, I want to stay focused on being active and making sure that doesn't fall off. And once I can get my mental health in the right spot, rather, then I want to try to work on everything else. I just feel like I'm not ready yet. I feel like I just want to stay active as much as I possibly can. And I know that in time I will come around and I'll get motivated and fired up and I'll say, okay, let's tackle this nutrition. But right now I'm just not in that headspace. I got to be honest with you.
Honestly, though, you're still hanging on to a big aspect of living healthy. And I think that is a lot more than what a lot of people can say. I mean, I know that I've gone through many, many, many ups and downs since 2015 when I changed my lifestyle. And I mean, sometimes I'm totally so far out of both of them that it doesn't even, it's just hard, man. It's really hard to keep the motivation. It's hard to keep the desire to eat good and exercise too. It's a lot, but I'm really proud of all your steps and you continuing to be active. Like, that is a big, big feat in itself, especially considering where you and I both came from, honestly.
No, I appreciate that. I will say that, I do have some OCD tendencies. So when it comes to the Apple Watch, I have to close those rings. If I don't close those rings, I will really be in a bad place.
Oh, no.
So that helps me out a lot. So it's like, okay, I know I need to close these rings. And then, Planet Fitness gave me the Fitbit, and they're like, we want you to use the Fitbit. And so I started using that, and I'm like, now I'm seeing, okay, I'm getting all my steps on the Fitbit. And so I'm just in a place where I like to make sure that I can see those things, like I'm hitting the goals on those, and it keeps me motivated to do that. So I just need to find the right thing when it comes to the nutrition side to where I can get OCD about it. And I'm like, all right, you got to do this. Like, there's no other ways about it. So once I kind of like put those puzzle pieces together, I know it'll be fine. And that's the thing too. It's like when you come into like one of these like slumps or whatever, I use that for lack of a better term, like it's almost like you know exactly what you have to do. It's not like it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. It's a mystery. You know exactly what you have to do. You just have to get your head in the right spot to make you want to do it.
No doubt.
So
it's hard to do. I mean, in 100 pounds in 11 months, I cannot grasp how you did that. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. That is such an exuberant amount of weight in less than a year. I just can't wrap my head around it.
I wish it would have gone a lot slower, because I put on about 40 of it back, and I'm not mad about it. It is what it is right now. I'm not one of these people where I'm like complaining about it. Like, how could this possibly happen? I know exactly how it happened. I know exactly how to fix it. I just need to tell my brain we need to be in that motivational spot to want to fix it, rather than, just kind of just going through the motions. But I feel like for me personally, I tend to keep myself really busy, and I just, it kind of fits in wherever it fits in. But I do find little things like, if I can throw in a salad here, or have one of those like, what do they call those things? The Outshine popsicle bars instead of eating a thing of Ben and Jerry's. Like, I feel like,
Oh God, Ben and Jerry's don't even get me started on Ben and Jerry's.
Now, I haven't had one in a while, but these Outshine bars, there's these little strawberry Outshine bars that are like 60 calories. And I'm like, even if I have two, that's 120, and like, that's not terrible. I try not to have two, because then that leads to more compulsive behavior. But like, if I can just have the one and be happy with it, like, I'm good. And so I try to find like little alternatives, little things to sub out. I'm like, okay, well, if I'm craving this, let's just try to sub it out with this. Even if it's a similar portion size, I still try to sub it out and just try to figure it out. But it kind of is what it is right now.
And I mean, 40 pounds, honestly, is not even that big of a deal. Like, so I'm at 255 right now. Actually, probably like 250. I think I'm 254 is what I was when I weighed in.
Right.
I've been down to 220. So that's 30. Was that 30 pounds?
Yeah, it's about 30.
35 pounds. Yeah. I mean, to me, it's like an average. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm not normal, but that to me does not sound too bad at all things considering,
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
that's my range.
I ain't mad about it. I'm just like, hey, we're just gonna keep on moving, and we'll figure it out. It's not a mystery. It will get handled at some point, but I just got to get myself in the right space. And then, of course, my cousin and I started this new channel where we're eating a bunch of stuff, but we're doing it once a week. So I'm like, okay, if I can get in a spot where I can be awesome for the entire week, and then it's like, okay, just this one meal only on camera, that's fine. Like, I'm not mad at that. So there will be a balance to be figured out here. That's for sure.
So is it every week that you guys are doing stuff with food, or is it like every other week? How frequent is it?
It's just once a week. We will go to one place. We will have like one meal there and just film ourselves eating it.
I can't wait for this, by the way. I am so excited for this.
By the time this comes out, it will already be out, so you should pretend like you've already seen it, and you're like, this is awesome, you should go watch. Yeah, no.
Right? I'm excited. I really can't wait to see what you guys get into.
I'm ready for the premiere. The first one is going to be a pizza episode, and the slice is bigger than my head. So
I can't wait.
that should be a lot of fun. So yeah, we're doing that, and I'm like, well, shit. If I'm gonna be in a spot where I'm not eating the best, I might as well try to get paid on eating some of this stuff. You'd be surprised at how well food channels do on YouTube. It's unbelievable.
I am not surprised one bit. Everybody loves food.
Yeah, I will watch strangers eat all day long. It's not even a problem.
So did you guys eat anywhere in Ocean City?
Yeah, we had a couple places. So this was one of those really bad days where we filmed probably like 6 videos over the course of one day, because we were only there from like Friday night to Sunday morning. So Saturday, and it was like little stuff here. Like we would split, like we went to Thrasher's and split 1 cup. We didn't even finish it. We threw half of it away. And then there was like Fisher's popcorn. We threw most of that away because it was just so damn dry. And then we went to Tommy's Sub Shop on like 27th, 28th, which has been there since the 70s. I love that place. We went to Tony Luke's, and we went to Mitchell's Market, which is now like 3rd or 4th Street. And then we tried one of the ice cream places, and we were like, okay, we're tapped out. We can't get anything else in these bodies.
How did you guys eat all that in 2 days?
Well, we walked 12 miles.
True. I totally would have tried to meet up with you guys, but I knew you were only here for like 1 full day, and I know what you guys were trying to get into. So hopefully next time you guys come down, I'd love to meet up with you guys.
Oh, we will make it happen, but I don't even know how we fit all that in one day. And like, I'm just like, I'm just like, dude, what were you thinking? But we had such a limited amount of time. We're like, we want to get a lot done. The podcast that people will be hearing from last week that he and I were on, like we recorded that at like 1:30 in the morning, and like you can hear by like a half an hour, 40 minutes in, like we're just exhausted, and like we normally my podcasts go about an hour. We ended it like 45 minutes because we were so exhausted.
Well, how long was the drive? It had to have been a couple of hours.
It was about 4 hours.
Was it 4? Oh, geez.
We hit traffic.
Yeah, I figured you would coming across. Did you guys come across the Bay Bridge?
Yep. And
Always traffic at the Bay Bridge, man.
That it was actually moving decent. It was just everything else, like getting out of our area. Like I know you've been at least through this area before. It's not the best for traffic, and so we sat in some traffic, and then I realized that I left my belt at home, and so we went to a Walmart. We had to stop at a Walmart so I can get a belt. Or otherwise my pants would fall straight down, and I'm not about that life. And then, we got to the hotel, we checked in, we filmed some stuff, and then we're like, okay, let's go out and do whatever. And so, but Saturday was like our main day to like get everything in. And so within about 15 to 16 hours, we had walked 12 miles. We had ate 6 different places. It was just unbelievable.
You walked everywhere you went to, didn't you? You didn't take a cab or an Uber anywhere.
Nothing. We walked everywhere.
Insane.
Yeah.
12 miles. That's like you could have walked to probably there to my house in 12 miles.
No kidding.
Yeah, probably. I bet I don't know. I'm terrible with directions. Just scratch that. Never mind. Forget I said anything.
Well, Ocean City is a long freaking city. Like,
I
think I went one time to the Princess Royale, which is like 130th Street or something, and that seemed like it took forever to get there. So it's a pretty long strip.
It's a hike for sure. Were you guys near Secrets at all?
Do you know where Secrets is in the city? Because then I could tell you.
I have no clue.
Yeah, I have no idea. We were on like 15th. They were like 15th or 16th Street.
I gotcha.
Yeah, the Spinnaker.
Secrets is like, now I'm not going to look. I feel like, I don't know, maybe like 60th Street. I don't know, but it's like.
Oh, so it's up there.
Club there, yeah. Yeah, I was just curious if you guys had went by it or not. I know it was probably packed. There's usually people like spilled out into like the streets waiting to get in.
You want to talk about a COVID hotspot? That sounds like a COVID hotspot.
You ain't lying. I have a friend that goes there every weekend, and they're just packed in there without a mask on. It just blows my mind. No thanks.
I won't do it. Like, I'll tell you what, right now, like I'm in the 315 pounds right now range. And so breathing is not always the best, but I'll still put that damn mask on every time. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. It's just the smart thing to do.
Yeah. I see these videos of like these people freaking out. My rights. I'm just like, just put the damn mask just for a minute. Like, there was some lady in a hotel. Like, I don't know. I get fascinated with these like Karen videos or whatever. And there was some lady in a hotel, like, they literally just said, can you put it on just so we can check you in real quick and you can go upstairs and take it off? And she's like, now, this is my rights.
Yeah.
I'm just like, come on, lady. You're out of your mind.
It is, but it's also, if they're not going to comply, it's the hotel's right to kick her out. So,
well, that's what they said. And she's like, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Yep. Yes, they can. people, man, people.
I will say, out of all of this madness of the pandemic, it has brought out some insane videos of people like just losing their shit on the internet.
I know. I love the internet sometimes.
Reddit, I go on like Reddit, like Public Freakout is one of my favorite subreddits because it's just videos of people like losing their minds, like going crazy.
Oh my God. It's probably going to make me sound really stupid, but I cannot get the hang of Reddit. I don't understand it.
Do you remember like back in the day, like message boards and stuff like that? Okay, so you never were like a message board gal or nothing?
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, so
Is that what it is?
It's basically like a message board, but it's like a public message board. And so like you have like the reddit.com, like the homepage, which they call like /all. And that's just like every subreddit, like whatever gets voted to the top. I actually made it number 2 on there one time with a transformation photo of all things.
Really?
I did one time. It happened. And I got beat out by a trailer. It was a trailer of a new movie that premiered, and I got beat out by that. But I did make it number 2 once. But basically, you have like the all page, which has like the top posts of the day from all these different subreddits. And then you have the subreddits, which are the different like pages. Like they have one for pro wrestling. It's called r/squared circle. And then they have like I look at one for like Sprint. They're my cell phone company. Anytime I want to look up like stuff on them, I can go there. Or like Public Freakout is like all these videos of like people losing their minds, or like, you know, anything you can think of. Xbox, they have their own subreddit and all this different stuff. It's just you got to watch out which ones you go into though, because they can get pretty crazy.
Yeah, I just don't trust it. I don't trust that website as a whole.
Yeah, I always look at it logged out because I'm like, I don't want my history on there.
Oh my God, is that bad?
Well, it's just because like you click on something and you don't know what you're clicking on.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just it's a mess.
The whole thing, I don't trust it.
Yeah, it's probably better to stay out of there, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I've come this long, so I'm not going to start now. You know, I don't know what I'm missing. So.
I will say though, like the thing with the picture, like it could be a good way if you can find out how to hack it and get yourself on the front page of something. Like mine was like the pictures. There's like some picture subreddit, and it's just like pictures of anything. But like if people dare to post transformation photos, people get so angry. They're like, "This is not photography. This is just a transformation. Put this in a weight loss subreddit." But then like people get mad, but it still gets shot to the top, and it just goes crazy.
It bothers me.
I get it.
Freaks me out.
Dude, I totally get it. I totally get it.
It's too much for my little simple mind. I'll go to Google and like go to Wikipedia, but that's about as far as I'll go.
Well, it's not like you don't have enough going on as it is.
This is very true. I'm always doing something.
You're
like,
print shopping it, running your own freaking business, working out, eating good. Like, is there anything you cannot do? You're doing it so well.
Sleep.
Yeah. How many hours are you sleeping a night?
About 7 or 8.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, what time is it? It's 6:30. I bet you I'll be in bed in an hour. No joke.
Yeah, I would too. I here's the thing that I also like. I will say this. I meant to mention this earlier. So we're talking about like, you know, staying active and stuff. The one thing I will give my body credit for, and I think we should always say nice things about our body. It wakes me up so early, even on the weekends when I don't want it to. It will have me up at like 6 or 7 in the morning. I'm like, well, since we're already up, we might as well go out for a walk.
There you go. Yeah, I get up really early too. I usually wake up between, I would say, a solid 5 to 6 every day of the week.
Yeah.
But I personally get most of my stuff done in the morning. So It's fine with me anyway, because as soon as I get up, I start messing with stuff.
Yeah. I like to get up early and just be productive. Now I'll get up now and start editing videos at like 4 o'clock in the morning when I get up before I go to work. I'm just like, what the hell? It's a few more hours in the day I can do something to be productive.
I feel like I'm like always doing something, and I know you are too, but I don't think either of us have much downtime. You know what I mean? Like if I'm sitting there, I feel like I'm wasting time, and it's a blessing and a curse to feel that way. I feel like.
I agree. I mean, it's just like you take this podcast right now, like this is our chance to catch up and talk. And like, I think this is a great way to hang out on a podcast. Some people might look at it like, oh, you know, I'd rather just hang out with somebody not on a podcast maybe. And I get that, but it's like, you know, somebody like us, we're so damn busy that this might be the only chance we get to, you know, interact at any given time.
And it's still productive for you. You're still putting content. I know you're all about content and getting content and putting out content, and it's still you get to hang out, but you're still working at the same time.
I'm trying. I'm trying to get content out of it. Like we went to Charleston a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, I got to film while I'm down here. It's not perfect, but I gotta film something because I'm like, I want to just put something out. I constantly always have that mode to like, I need to put something out.
Yeah, I get it. It's hard to turn off, like, because we both have goals that we want to hit and we're both always working towards something. It's hard to just be like, I'm not doing that. Like, let's just not film for you.
Oh yeah, that would drive me nuts. And speaking of which, that's probably a good place to put a bow on it. I mean, I know COVID happened and all that stuff, but like, what are some of these goals that you're working on now, and have they changed at all? Have they had to alter it all because of all this?
I don't think so. If anything, it's given me more time to focus on what I want to do.
Oh, good.
I do with my Etsy shop. The biggest goal that I had was I wanted to average one sale a day, which is, to me, that was my goal. It's hard to break into Etsy, into that world. And I felt like I would feel successful if I averaged one sale a year for my first year that I opened. And I feel my 1 year anniversary just passed like last week, and I have just over 600 sales. So I'm very, very happy. And yeah, it's just so cool. And sometimes it's still weird that I even am doing this, but that is really my one goal that I focused on all year, and I hit it. So that makes me feel really good. Like I'm doing something right.
No, that is incredible. I think that anytime you can get in a situation like that, hey, I would take 600, or if I could get that, I would kill for that. That'd be amazing.
I'm freaking tickled to death, man. Like, I think that is so awesome. I still can't believe that it happened.
Yeah.
But I think a big chunk of that, probably like 150 to 200 sales, was that one card I had mentioned for Father's Day.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it was, even without that, I would hit it. So I'm really, really tickled.
I am so excited for you on that.
Thank you.
Other than that stuff, like, is there anything else you got going on, or does that pretty much take up most of your time that's free, basically?
This is it. This is all I got going on right now.
Well, I like that. You got one central focus. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it is. What about you? What do you have going on that you're working towards?
Basically the videos right now. This is it. I mean, the podcast, obviously, but I turned it into a video now, as you can see. And I appreciate, by the way, for you coming on here and hanging out on the video. You
are the one person, man, that will get me on a video. I swear to God.
And I like your little backdrop there. You got the, what is that, like teal, green kind of stuff?
Yeah.
I love it.
It's teal. It's cheery.
I like that. But no, the video is the focus. I mean, the thing Larry and I are doing, that may be the thing. I mean, here's the thing. All the experts say you got to niche down. You got to do one type of video. And
yeah,
that's never been the case with me. If you go on my channel, there's a podcast here, there's a vlog here. Here I am talking about this thing that goes on my GoPro. Like, it's all over the place. It's scatterbrain. Here's a concert I did 30 years ago or whatever. But with this, it's
my favorite. I love that, by the way.
Well, thank you.
I would have been there, man. I would have been there.
Well, we're gonna go back in the studio and finish that thing. Believe it or not, I don't know if
awesome.
I don't think. No, we haven't talked about it yet. It would have been on the podcast last week. I'm talking in the future, Gary, like middle of August.
Yeah.
We talked about this on the podcast from last week for everybody listening now. That we're going to go back in the studio and redo the vocals for that EP that we want to.
That is so cool. I am freaking here for it.
I'm like, what the hell? We'll see what happens, right?
Why not?
It feels like there's some unfinished business with that.
What better time than now?
I know we got all this time, free time in the world, but the video thing, that is number one. I think that should do decently well because it is niche down. It is one topic, and that is food. And then, but we're also going to do, I talked to Larry, and I'm probably just speaking way out of turn here, but fuck it. I'm half of the business. So, we're also going to do, it's not just going to be nasty stuff too. I'm going to have like Gary's like healthy corner where I do like a video where I do something that's like a healthier choice, let's say. So it'll be a different spin. It'll be all things food. And then there's going to be like little videos that I do, like solo videos where it's like healthy stuff too. So we'll see how that goes.
Great idea. I'm so here. Any kind of food, I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, me too. I mean, I want to learn more about all kinds of stuff, but we start out with the stuff that will get the people in, and that's, the 28-inch pizzas and the 3-foot steak and cheeses and all that. And then, you hit them over the head when they're not expecting it with a little bit of that healthy stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And it's really hard for me too to find one thing to focus on, because I'm just so all over the place with my thoughts, with my interests. Like, it's constantly changing, and I can't tie myself down to one freaking thing to focus on. So if you can do that and you have the kind of brain that I have, I will really salute you for that, because that will be that's going to be something for you to overcome, to not explore your other interests,
Oh, we're the same person on that, because I constantly feel like my interests change on things. Like, one day I'm like, I want to do this. The next day I want to do that. And it's just all over the freaking map,
Yes. My dad used to say that he is a jack of all trades and a master of none. And that is me to a T. I can do so many things, but not like I could if I focused on it.
I know. Isn't that crazy? It's like if we focus down on one central thing, we would probably be absolutely unstoppable. But because we try to dip our toes in like 5 different things instead of one, it's like, well, this is where we're at.
I'm just really happy to meet somebody else that's like me, because it can be very frustrating.
It really can.
Like, I have my dad's book. I've been trying to write my dad's book, and I dabble with it, but that should be my number one focus right now. It really should be. Especially after I launched my Kickstarter, and all of these amazing people helped fund what I needed to get the iPad to illustrate the book. And it's like 3rd on the list when it should be 1st on the list. But it's just the way that I roll. My dad would appreciate it. And all I know is I'm working on it and it will get done. It's just should be up front, but it ain't right now.
Oh, I totally get that.
Hard, man.
It is, because like you'll have this idea and you'll know exactly, or have a pretty good idea, like 90% of what you want to do. But then like something else comes in and knocks it out of the way. And then you start focusing on that when you could have been done with this other thing like weeks ago.
Yes.
Oh,
I will say I'm on my 3rd draft. So it's not like I haven't been working on it. I have been. It's just, honestly, it's a lot harder than what, like I said earlier, everything that looks simple, it's not simple. Here I am thinking, if it's going to be an age group for kids 1 to 3, it's mostly going to be pictures, right? So it's not going to be that hard to do. Wrong. It's very hard to do. There's a lot to it, and I'm learning the absolute hard way.
Yeah. Oh, and so you're working on an iPad.
Yep, I'm using Procreate I originally bought Procreate to illustrate the book, but I can't illustrate it without writing it. So I can't start to draw it until I have everything else ironed out,
Yeah.
So I am going to be illustrating it digitally. I do have my character already drawn. But it's really been something to write a kid's book, especially because it was my dad's idea. So it's not even coming from me. I'm doing what I feel like my dad would have done, and it's making it a little bit harder. But
well, yeah, and you probably tend to second guess yourself on some things. You're like, well, would he have gone this way? Or like,
yeah,
it's got to be a little bit of a struggle.
It really is. And that's part of the reason, actually, why I'm on my 3rd draft, because the first 2 that I did, I knew the plot that he wanted to do, but it just I don't like it. So I'm like, you know what? My dad's not here. I'm doing it to honor him. So I need to do what I feel like would work best. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Just comes down to using your best judgment and your best guess on what, which way to go with it.
Yeah.
I think that's cool though, that you're doing it all on an iPad. From the tech, I'm a tech geek all day long. So
yeah.
I love
the difference is I'm going to illustrate the book on my iPad in Procreate, but I'm going to lay it out in Illustrator and do all the typing and the typesetting and all that in Illustrator. So I'm going to be combining a couple of different techniques, but at the end of the day, it's going to be all digitally done.
Have they brought Illustrator to the iPad yet?
Not that I know of. I don't know. Do they have plans to do that?
I think they do. I know they've brought Photoshop and Lightroom already to the iPad. They brought Premiere. Well, it's kind of like a lighter version of Premiere Rush. That's for us video editor folks. But I want to say it's in the works at the very least.
I had no idea. That's insane. But see, my computer is so old. I have a Mac and it's good, but it's like 11 years old.
Yeah.
So the operating system that I have on it can't support updated. The operating system can't update, so I can't have the best and most newest programs. I have Illustrator and Photoshop 2019, but I can't get the newest stuff, so I really don't keep up on that end of things.
I see.
So I had no clue that was going to be on an iPad. How is that even going to support Illustrator?
This is the thing. So they announced at the WWDC, that's every year Apple, they do this event where they announce the new operating system, and they announce that they're developing their own silicon chips for the Mac. And so what the big revelation was that got a lot of people excited was that the same chip that they were demoing on a Mac is the same chip that's in the latest iPad Pro. So I have the 2020 iPad Pro, and even the 2018 is really powerful, but they were running Mac OS on an iPad chip, essentially, is what I'm trying to say without getting like too technically geeky on it.
What?
Like they were showing like Final Cut Pro, which is what I use to edit my videos. They were showing like 3 layers of like 4K video running on basically an iPad chip, which got me thinking that maybe the iPad will get things like Final Cut and Logic, which is Final Cut's a video editor, Logic's the audio editor, which I edit my podcasts on. And so I'm like, this has got my wheels turning. So from an iPad user standpoint, you might get all that Adobe stuff as well.
Wow. Honestly, you blew my mind with that. I had no clue.
Yeah, it's all they said by middle of next year to late next year they'll have every Mac on the new Apple Silicon chips. And so maybe by the time you decide that you may want to go down that road again and get a new Mac, it may have those same chips in it, or at the same time the iPad may get updated where they'll be able to run all the Adobe stuff on it.
See, and that's what's so crazy. Like the kids that are in like middle school now, that are going to be in high school in a handful of years, that are going to college, they're going to learn all of that on an iPad. So they're going to be learning Illustrator on an iPad. And here I'm not doing that. Like I'm going to stay old school on my freaking desktop with a mouse. Like I can't even imagine using Illustrator on an iPad. I'm trying to calculate how that's going to work. And are they going to like have a mouse with an eye? Like how is that? What are they? Well, I don't even know what to do.
What iPad do you have right now?
I have it's just a regular, it's actually a refurbished one.
Okay, yeah.
I want to say it's from like maybe last year. It's a certified Apple refurbished one. And I saved a bunch of money on it. It had the same, the same like warranty that a brand new one would have. Everything was the exact same. It was just refurbished. I'm like, screw it, I'm buying a refurbished one then.
That's what my MacBook came from, was the refurbished, and I put Apple Care. It's wonderful. But let me blow your mind for a moment. I don't know if you're on the latest iOS or not, but if you're on iOS 13, you can pair a Bluetooth mouse with your iPad.
For real?
And a keyboard. I'm dead serious.
Oh my God, I don't know what I'm on. I literally just float through like no clue what any of my stuff is.
Yeah.
As far as like what operating system or if it's the newest or what, but I'll have to look it up because that's crazy.
Yeah. How do the kids say it now? Dead ass instead of saying dead serious, to say dead. I'm dead ass, bro. Like, yeah.
Somebody asked me in my DMs the other day what pre-workout I take, and I said it's Lit. And she was like, okay, well, what's the brand? And I'm like, it's Lit. I can't deal with it sometimes. I laughed at that for 5 minutes. Like,
I feel so old. Do you ever get that sometimes where you're just like in these DMs, you're like, God, I feel so old. What am I even doing here?
Yeah, like it's Lit.
Yeah. But if you're on at least 13, and I would always recommend updating to the latest stuff, but you should be fully compatible and able to pair a Bluetooth mouse and a Bluetooth keyboard, and you can unleash all new things on your iPad that you didn't even know were there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. I know. Are you like watching it happen?
Yeah.
Wow.
It might help you out with your workflow potentially.
Yeah, man. That's a major development right there, for real.
Well, I hope it works out. You'll have to get back to me on that and see how all that works out.
Yeah, I'll have to let you know.
Definitely. Well, I do appreciate your time. I know you've got a lot of things going on, so I think this is probably a great place to wrap it up. But definitely, let's not wait another year to chat again on a podcast. I want to hear about everything you got going on. So, with that being said, we'll take the last moment here. Tell everybody everything you got going on and where they can go and get all these cool things that you're doing.
They can find me on Instagram at Gem of the Gym. Say it. I can't say it like you can.
Okay, let me dust this one off because it's been a while.
Let me hear it.
You guys can follow Amy on Instagram at Gem of the Gym. That's GEM of the GYM Instagram.
You're a master at your craft, man. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is. I love that.
So, Gem of the Gym.
The Instagram, Gem of the Gym, and I'm on Etsy at Amy Bertrand Tire. That's just my name.
Okay. Cool.
That's what I got.
That's what she's got. Go out. I'll put all the links in the, I'll put them below on the YouTube. That's how they say it. And then on the show notes for the podcast. And Amy, thank you so much. I had a lot of fun catching up with you today, and we'll do it again.
Yes, Gary, thank you so much for having me. And it was a really good time. I appreciate you.
Awesome. I appreciate you, my friend, and we will talk very soon.
Bye.
See ya.